framed her.
You can move.
I always sit here,
All right.
so he knows.
Anyways, welcome to the podcast. As usual, Josh, Steph, Nelson, and experiment gone wrong. Izzo is now a turtle. We're working on an antidote. I should not be allowed in laboratories. I think we've discovered this many times before, but you guys keep letting me near chemicals. So Izzo's just gonna sit right there.
Very quiet.
Sorry, little buddy.
Just chew on your apples.
Applesauce, bitch. No, actually, little turtle I found in my driveway today when I was working in the yard. He wasn't moving. I thought he was dead. I thought he had frozen to death because it's too cold for a turtle to be out. Mm-hmm. You're little. You don't understand these things. So I picked him up, took him out back with me where I was working, put him on the deck where the sun was hitting. And when I came back to check on him, he had moved because he almost got himself stuck in a crack on the deck.
Oh no!
Because I was getting ready, because I was burning leaves, I was getting ready to give him a Viking funeral.
Oh, no.
I was going to make sure he was dead, but if he was dead, I was like,
that would have been so awful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Nelson, what did I do today?
I've already killed one turtle at this house.
Like a little thing that they build, like the little...
No, I didn't give him a fire and everything.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome. But he lived. So then I was like, it's going to get too cold. I was like, and I don't know how turtles deal with the cold. And I've taken away almost all the leaves in the yard, so you can't bundle up in those.
Oh.
So I was like, I'll bring him indoors. When it gets consistently warm, I'll let him go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got to figure out what he eats. I don't know if he likes the cut up apple I gave him. So I know I had a pet turtle once, and it ate strawberries. Loved strawberries. You put a strawberry on the straw, and he would just like walk over to it, and he was like.
They have turtle food like at PetSmart.
I ain't spending money on that.
Oh,
He eats
okay.
what I eat, or he don't eat at all.
Oh,
That's
no.
the rule in this house.
Okay, alright.
You eat what I cook, or you don't eat.
I'm gonna come home and that turtle is just clawing on top of like a piece of steak or something.
Yeah, they don't eat meat. I don't think they do.
They eat worms. They eat insects.
Oh, well then you probably just go to the freaking lawn and garden section and get
Dude,
some
I
worms.
got some crickets and shit at my house.
I don't
Because
think he's
I have
quite
a
ready for
lizard.
crickets.
Yeah, the cricket's like
I was
same
like-
size.
I was like, cricket's like half the size of him.
They're like that big.
But
Yeah, he's about that big.
So now, I got a little baby turtle for a little bit, and if you want to know, his name is Gunpei Yokoi. These two assholes didn't know who that was. It's the inventor of the Game Boy and the Game & Watch.
Not even
And
Google
that little
knew.
like reach ball thing, like pretty much, he's the reason for Nintendo's success. Because if it wasn't for him and the Game Boy, Nintendo would have gone under probably. Because the Game Boy and DS, the DS which built off of the Game Boy and the Game & Watch systems, kept it alive with all the Pokemon games. And without
Did you mention that he made your great white buffalo of Nintendo consoles?
the virtual console, not the virtual console, I was like the Virtual Boy. I still
Oh
need one.
god.
As soon as I can find one that's within a price range I'm willing to pay.
Not $300.
Fuck that.
Because every time you ask, or I ask when I see one, it's like the guy's like $300.
Yeah.
I just like the last convention we were at when someone said the 300. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, that's right. As we were just walking by.
I didn't like. It was like I didn't even have time to filter. That was just my reaction to him. How much is that? $300. Get the fuck out of here. I really wish so. I would have loved that man forever if he would have known the Beverly Hills Cop reference with Balky when Eddie Murphy goes, get the fuck out of here. Oh, I cannot. If he'd have done that, I'd have been like, fucking
That would have been
crazy.
too perfect. Instead, he took it like a normal person. He was like,
I'm
sorry?
I'm the only person who gets Beverly Hills Cop references, and it's a sad day. But slow news week, so we're gonna talk about movies.
Yes.
Stephanie and I went to go see Pac Rim Uprising.
Yep.
Totally forgot it had a subtitle till the very end of the movie.
I forgot it had a subtitle until you just said it.
I will say we'll give an initial review, then we'll go into talks. I will give you the spoiler warning, and pretty much from there on out, it's spoilerific. We'll put a time code in the description when spoilers are over, if I remember.
Okay.
And that way you can come on back and hear whatever else we talk about.
And since I'm hearing these spoilers, I will be asking questions too.
I will just say, as far as spoilers go, you see the last fight in the trailer.
You don't see the whole fight.
You don't see the whole fight, but
That's still annoying.
the kaiju's only show up for the last few minutes of the movie. So there's a couple minor spoilers in there. I don't think they spoil the movie at all because when these I guess twists happen, it didn't blow my mind. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also kind of dumb. We'll get into that in details though. I would say I went in, like I said, I went in with the lowest expectations possible, and that's how you should view this movie, with the lowest expectations possible. With that said, I would give it a 7.
Really? That high?
I would
It's
say
not-
like a 7.5.
It's not a good movie.
That's
And I'm a
surprising that
fan
he
of
threw
it.
that.
It's not
seven.
a good movie, but it's an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
I was not bored. Like when we get into details, I'll probably pick it apart and it will sound like I hated the movie.
Mhm.
But it's an entertaining movie. I mean, if you just want to see giant robots beat up on giant robots and giant monsters,
Mhm.
there you go. I ate almost an entire bag of popcorn. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I mean, it entertained me.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, especially. Oh, you'll love this. So fucking Paragon is terrible about putting what's a premiere movie or not on the movie pass app.
Yeah.
So they wanted to charge me $2. I was like, no.
Yeah. He kind
So I asked for a manager. I was super nice. Steph came back to me. It was super nice. Manager came over. I said, hey, like I showed him on my app. I was like, see how Regal and AMC have their premiere ones blacked out? I wouldn't have bought this ticket if I'd have known it was a premium movie and I have to pay extra. I would have gone to a different showing or a different theater. I was like, that's my problem. Is like I thought I was buying a regular ticket, and manager was super nice. Gave me my ticket.
Yep.
Didn't charge me the. I mean,
Awesome.
Steph was like, it's only $2, and I told her, I was like, no, Steph, it's the principle. The fact
Oh, no,
that,
like here's my $2.
because that's the thing. It's like, if it was labeled a premium movie, and I
And you
chose to
knew
see
that.
it,
Yeah.
then I'm choosing to spend that $2. But I didn't choose that, so that was my whole thing. She actually said, if you could like let our home office know, because we're a small chain,
Mhm.
so we don't necessarily like update that as much. But if everyone who like this happens to lets them know. So yeah, so if you've gone to a Paragon theater, be wary that you might want to check like listings first before you do your movie pass thing, because you might get a premium seat
Compare
when you
it
don't
to
know.
Fandango.
But also
That
take
happens
this
with
manager's
Fandango a lot.
advice
No, Fandango
Tells
you
you
it's
what-
an
yeah.
extreme
Oh,
screen,
okay.
special.
and do this manager's advice. Let their home office know. Say, hey, you got to do this, because I could have been a dick, but I wasn't, because
Yeah.
I work customer service, so I'm never a dick unless.
I was
Yeah.
just sitting
Unless
there
it
waiting.
calls for it.
Yeah, and unless they give me an attitude, I'm not a dick, because I've been on the other end of complaining customers, especially when it's nothing you can do
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like that manager who's like, I'm gonna get this guy.
Yeah.
But on to the movie, so we'll do more details. So to catch you up on the movie, it starts with a narration by John Boyega, which was kind of a shitty narration.
I just heard the ding from CinemaSins right there.
Yeah, narration. Ding. Because it just kind of fills you in on the last movie,
Yeah.
and then it kind of catches you up with what he's been doing, which I could have gotten without the narration, because they showed it. Like,
Yeah,
as he's
we-
narrating
yeah.
it, they showed it. If you just showed it to me, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
people aren't that
Yeah.
smart. They need the words.
No, they don't.
Yeah, just look at
Think-
just look
think-
it up.
Think about
Opening.
Yeah, but some people
Thing.
probably never even saw the first one.
Think about the theatrical release of Blade Runner and how shitty that narration is at the beginning. Or where the director's cut doesn't have the narration and the movie works so much better. Stuff's like, I don't know, I haven't seen both
I
versions.
haven't seen.
Um,
Runner.
But no, I mean the narration.
Sorry.
The narration was pointless because it caught us up on things from the previous movie that we
Yeah.
didn't need. I hate it when movies do that
Mhm.
because, like, you know what? This is a sequel. If people don't know what happened in that first movie, fuck them. They
yeah,
can play catch up.
That's true.
Yeah.
And also, like, when he was narrating about what he was doing, it was showing us at the same time. I felt it would have been better just to show us.
Yeah.
Because it did a great job of showing us what he'd been up to.
Mhm.
So that's where we start off with. He's kind of he's Aladdin. He's a street rat.
He is.
Rip
He lives in
Street rat.
He lives in half a mansion because the other half was destroyed by a kaiju that
Yep.
fell on it.
Yep.
And
They
you see-
show you that in the trailer.
Did they? was
Yeah,
that in the
he's
trailers?
floating on the jet ski with
Oh,
the
I don't
girl,
remember that part.
And there's a skeleton up on the side of the
No, I don't think I saw the second trailer or the very last trailer. I never saw it.
They
Because
showed it real quick.
at that point I kind of made up my mind on the movie that I wasn't originally going to see it. I just
Yeah.
happened to be bored this weekend, so I went to go see it. So we catch up with him, and he's trying to steal a core from a junk Jaeger, and he's with these mafioso guys who I think he kills. He locks them in something, and we never see them again.
we
I
don't.
assume they.
So they're still there.
I assume 2 of the 3 suffocated and died, and the other person ate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
And the core that he was trying to steal is actually stolen. That's the little girl we see from the trailers, who built her own Jaeger.
Which is pretty badass. I like that part.
See, this is where my first complaint about the movie comes in.
Oh no.
There's no way that little girl, because it didn't show any forklifts or nothing. There's no way she built that.
Why?
Because there was nothing to lift the heavy things.
That's true.
Because even
You
John
don't know.
Boyega,
They didn't show you her entire
at the end of the movie, John Boyega said that thing weighed a ton.
Yeah.
Okay? But there was nothing in her command center, what she called it, that showed any pulleys, chains, or anything
So
that
yeah,
would lift.
physically,
Yeah.
how the hell did she do that?
Yeah, if all
But
the
you
new,
don't see her entire.
yeah, but
office.
but look at all the shit that we see with the other Jaegers. We see them up on
Oh,
platforms,
yeah.
and we see
Oh,
all
yeah.
the cranes and things like that. So all they had to do for that shot to fix that for me, just give me a crane in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
That's all they did.
Something.
And that drives me insane about movies. How all it takes is one line of dialogue
Yeah.
or just a set piece
Yeah.
to just fix an entire plot hole.
Yeah.
And they get lazy, I guess, because that was my problem. Is like, bearing in mind these are sophisticated Gundams, a little girl, no matter how smart she is, building it on her own. Okay, I'll suspend my disbelief that this 12-year-old, 13-year-old, she was middle school age. She was not. There's no way she was like high school age. She at least looks young. I'll have to look the
They
actress up.
want her to be young.
Yeah, there's like, okay, I'll suspend my disbelief she's a genius and has the engineering background to do this. Which, by the way, in her flashbacks when they were like drifting together, they should have showed her dad building shit. Because if they showed her
Something
dad
like
being
that,
like a
yeah.
Howard to her Tony Stark,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then also, again, more believable. Again,
Yeah.
just a quick thing
Yeah. Yep.
that takes a split second to do and
Yeah.
they didn't do. Which
Yeah.
you're gonna see this as a theme. Like I said, I'm gonna pick apart this movie. It's gonna sound like I hated it. Again, I liked it, but there's gonna be a common theme in my
But
review.
he was like talking to me back and forth
Yeah.
throughout the movie, like.
But did I not come up with a better ending for the movie? And we'll get there
I
when
was
I
like,
talk about the ending.
oh shit!
My
I was like,
ending-
that would have been the best.
My ending, just like my ending, what WrestleMania should be,
Oh yeah.
would have been better.
Smack.
Actually,
Right.
you know what else?
Send it to me.
I'll give you
I was
a
like-
minor spoiler for my ending. Kind of similar to the WrestleMania ending and the Pac Room, but don't blur it out. I want you thinking on it. But it's not. It's not Braun Strowman taking out the kaiju, which
That would be hilarious.
that would be awesome. No, it's not that. But think in those terms, okay? Think in those terms. So they meet up, and I don't know if it's the police or the army comes to get them. I think it's the police, but
Yeah,
I think
it's police.
but I think this world it's a police state now.
Yeah.
So I think like the police and the army are interchangeable, basically.
But
Which that could have been explained in the narration because I had no idea.
But they knew that it was because of the core that she took. That's how they found it.
I'm assuming because
That,
he
they
was
don't explain
yeah why they found her
out.
because she was
Yeah.
like you led them to me. He's like no I didn't.
Yeah, that's impossible.
But he had something that he was tracking the core with, so I'm assuming they probably did
Yeah.
too.
That's how.
But
they
again,
found
he
out.
should have known that. He should have just again line of dialogue.
Yeah.
They tracked the core like I did.
Yeah.
Fixed.
There you
Plot
go.
hole
Yeah.
fixed.
Yep.
One simple line of dialogue. So they run away, and this thing kind of reminded me of Bumblebee from the Transformers movie.
It was super cute.
Except it had a round
Scrapper.
pot belly. Actually, it kind of if you combine Bumblebee from the animated series and the movie, you would get Scrapper, which is her Jaeger that she
Scrapper.
built.
Super
okay.
tiny. Super tiny.
Bulgy belly like Bumblebee, but it kind of had
Round.
Bumblebee's face from the new movies.
That terrifying bee face of it.
So they try to escape, and holy shit, like you get the like this was the only time in the movie you really get a sense of how big the Jaegers are,
Yes.
because her Jaeger was 2-3 stories tall.
Yeah.
It came up to like the ankle
Titan.
of a regular
What was
Jaeger.
the Titan? Oh, I can't remember the name. It's like Titan something. And yeah, she didn't even come up to his knee.
Yeah, it
she
was.
came up to the height of like the top of his foot.
Yeah, it was like the ankle height.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because the final battle takes place in a city, but you don't feel a sense of scope and size there. But that moment in the film, that was a good shot.
Yeah.
It was one of the few good shots in this movie. Because another complaint I had with the action scenes, it just couldn't escape my mind how much better this film would have been shot had it been for Guillermo del Toro. Because I would say plot-wise, it's not as good as the first one, but the first one, when you think about the plot for the first one, it's just an excuse for a giant monster movie.
Yeah.
So there's not much of a plot there. But the way Guillermo del Toro shoots a lot of those scenes, that's what makes it really good. Like the one scene where the Jaeger goes into, like the hand goes through the building and hits the, what is that thing called? The balls. They go back and forth.
Oh, I can't remember what those things are called because the Benoit balls are the ones that you spin in your hand.
Yeah. But anyways, those little balls that... which was done with miniatures, which is cool.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all tech. So, I mean, it's just like special little touches like that from Guillermo del Toro, a mastercraft at what he does. And then this guy, they got to replace him, who I've never heard of before, and I can't remember his name. I've heard it mentioned.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who directed this. I was like, who directed this?
Some dude I've never heard of.
He didn't do a bad job.
He didn't do a bad job, but like the fight scenes were just god awful. Because you could not focus on the combatants, and then not only was it like shaky cam throughout the fights, but then we'd get shaky cam in the Jaeger cockpit. So we go from a shaky cam fight to the Jaeger cockpit to shaky cam fight. It was really hard to follow.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, again, a better action director, a person better suited for their craft, would have shot those scenes better.
Yeah.
And like I said, the only time I ever got a size of scope was that first scene. So we're there, they get arrested, and we get the Asian chick from the first one hologramming because she's the big sister to John Boyega, which it was kind of funny how they kind of shoehorned John Boyega being the son, because I didn't think about it with the trailers, but then I was thinking back to the movie when he called her Big Sis. I was like, as much as Idris Elba's character talked about that little Japanese girl or Chinese girl, I think she's Japanese.
I think she was Japanese.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. He never mentioned a son. Like, he never talked about his son at all.
No.
So,
Oh yeah, I did.
yeah, see, like, I didn't think about that with the promotion material, but when those two were interacting, which
He didn't act like there was another one.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the way he talked about the girl, he didn't act like he actually had a biological child, which is fine because, we're all, I would say the Pacific Rim movie, once, he recruits Charlie Hunnam back to the fold,
I
would
wish we
say-
saw him in this movie.
I would say, like, that movie only lasts over a couple days. I would, like, maybe a week tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not going to be going on about his son.
No.
So
Not especially the girl that he adopted.
So there's some room for
there's
suspension.
wiggle room. 'Cause, I mean, he doesn't even mention his wife or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe he didn't know.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that
We'll find
movie.
out later.
No, because John Boyega talks about
That's true.
his dad and stuff like that, and we see the picture of them as little kids with
That's true. Very
him
true.
in the movie. I'm gonna have to rewatch the first movie, see if he's wearing a wedding ring. But you can always explain that with they got divorced.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I
but-
don't think he does in the movie, to tell you the truth. I've seen that movie a million times.
yeah, it's one of those things that maybe gives me an excuse to buy the 4K version because then I'll look really close. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like it gives him wiggle room. Like he never said he never got married. He never said he didn't have any kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, it gives him wiggle room.
Yeah.
Though it would have been nice, like had they planned for that, like when he was sacrificing himself, he could pull like a Randy Quaid from Independence Day. Tell my kids I love them. Hey boys, remember me? I'm back. So you would think a dad would do that. But again, that's nitpicky. That's me nitpicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get arrested and they're offered a way out of jail by joining the Jaeger program.
Yep.
Then we get fake Charlie Hunnam, who's a badass with a heart of gold. Who his character development is really shaky.
Are you talking about Eastwood?
Oh, was that Scott Eastwood?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Of
No wonder I
course!
kind of liked him.
Okay.
I didn't realize Scott Eastwood was in this. And I haven't seen him in too many things to really recognize him when I
The
see him.
only thing I've ever really seen him in was the Taylor Swift video that he was in.
Nope.
He was
No,
in the
yeah,
Taylor
I got
Swift
nothing for you.
movie. Sorry,
I-
that's the only way I really kind of know
I've
him,
only
and
seen-
like he was a model.
I've only seen one
I got
Taylor
nothing for you.
Swift movie or
That's a good
video, and it
thing.
was
After our conversation before.
Wow. We'll leave that alone.
but oh, funny sidetrack. Funny story about Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be an American Sniper, and he's friends with Bradley Cooper.
Oh, really?
So Bradley Cooper wanted him to play his brother, I think, in the movie.
He's not in the movie, is he?
Maybe friend. I can't remember because I haven't seen American Sniper in like 2 years.
He's not in that movie.
Who, Bradley Cooper?
No. Scott Eastwood.
I know. I'm getting there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry.
So Clint Eastwood, who directed it, Scott's father, he doesn't hand his kids anything. He's old school hard ass,
Oh,
kind of like
course,
my
yeah.
my dad. Just you will earn your keep.
Mhm.
So Scott had to audition for it, and this is how Clint Eastwood apparently does auditions. You film yourself and you send him the footage.
So he made his son do that.
Yeah, he made his son do that, and he never heard back.
Oh.
Because I heard this because he was on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about it, and Joe was like,
your dad didn't even.
and
let
Joe
you
was
in.
like, did you like bring it up at dinner at some point? He's like, no, you don't talk to dad about those sort of things. Apparently, I didn't cut it, and he doesn't tell you when you get rejected. You just don't hear back from him.
Oh my god, it's like he doesn't call. It's
So-
like a girlfriend, you just don't get the call.
Well, I mean, when you don't get a part, most of the time you don't.
Yeah.
he
hear
ghosts
back.
you.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
know that's how.
that's
Like
just-
the text message, like
Yeah.
he's not answering me back.
That's just kind of funny.
Channel's moving a lot, by the way.
He
good.
is. He's like
Good,
liking this.
because he wasn't moving at all.
Yeah.
You like our voices, little Gunpei?
I couldn't remember how to say his name.
So yeah, that's a kind of funny story about Scott Eastwood.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his character, there's got to be a scene missing because he goes basically from hating John Boyega because John Boyega they were drift partners and he abandoned him, and they never really explained why he left for the most part. At least if they did, it didn't like stick with me. It just
I just have a feeling that John Boyega's character just didn't want to do it anymore.
yeah, it just
That's
he was
kind of
done.
like how they made it
Um,
feel and sound.
So like he hurt Scott Eastwood's feelings, and so he hated him when he came back.
Yep.
And then they have a moment where John Boyega's just getting all the ice cream out of the
Yeah.
freezer, and he's like, "You want to?" And like Scott Eastwood comes up to him and he goes, "You want a beer? Sure."
Yep.
And they're just kind of talking. He's like, "Don't you have enough toppings? You don't come between me and my toppings."
No. He
And
got
then-
sprinkles and whipped
Yeah.
cream and
And then
ice
like the
cream.
next scene, they're kind of buddies again. Like there was really no like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry for abandoning you. It's okay, we're brothers." It was just like they were back together. Like I think there was a line, like John Boyega said, Scott Eastwood was being too hard on the recruits, and Scott Eastwood said, "No, we have to, whatever."
Yeah.
It's a very forgettable line, but there was really no like. Scott Eastwood goes from hating him to they're brothers again,
Yeah.
and it was really
Yeah,
weird.
but
Yeah.
Scott Eastwood says in the movie like we're family, we forgive and move on.
I know.
So he kind of like forgave
but
and
there was no like moment of asking for forgiveness and a come together. Because let's face it, and
But
when
do you ask for
Well-
forgiveness from your siblings when you get into a fight? No, you just kind of like move on.
well, we'll hug it out at least. But they didn't even have a hug it out moment. We'll use a real life situation from Nelson. We won't name names. But you recently reconciled with a good friend of
Oh,
ours.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And it
Yeah.
wasn't like one scene they hate each other, the next moment they're buddy buddy. No, they talked it out,
Yeah.
hugged it out, and boom, friends again. That, like I said, that I feel that scene's missing from the movie. Like there's a scene missing.
Maybe deleted scenes.
Yeah,
It could be. It could have been
Yeah.
kept for runtime if it does exist.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's what I'm saying. Like this scene is missing, whether they didn't
Yeah.
film it or they just cut it for some reason. But
Yeah.
because there's like, the way I got Scott Eastwood's character throughout that film was, oh, we're gonna hate him. He's gonna be the dickhead, and then he's gonna sacrifice himself in the end, like the dickhead
Yeah, but he
Australian
didn't even, like,
from the first movie.
sacrifice himself.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I thought he was gonna be a dick up
Yeah.
until the end, and then he was gonna
Like,
sacrifice
die.
himself, just like the dickhead Aussie from the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, we're gonna copy that one. Sweet. Which I will give this movie credit. It doesn't copy a lot from the first movie.
Oh, really?
It does kind of stand on its own, and I don't necessarily think you need to see the first one to see this one, because like I said, we get that narration at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all buddy, and the main plot of the movie is that there are this Chinese company is building these drone Jaegers
Mhm.
that they're mass producing them. They'll be everywhere around the world. So if there's another kaiju attack, boom, they're right there. There's no deploy.
So they made
There's no delay.
Sentinels.
Basically, yeah. And so there's going to be this vote where I guess Idris Elba's adopted Japanese daughter is like the head of the entire army now. Again, I don't know if they made that clear. They called her Marshal,
Yeah.
which is what they called him in the first one. But I don't know if he
Dude's moving.
good. I don't know if he was like the leader of the entire army then or not. But they act as if she is, or at least
She's
top
like the
brass.
head of something. She's
Yeah.
the head of like the company.
So she has the deciding vote on whether or not they're going to use these drones or not. And
Yeah.
she's planning on voting no. And then she ends up getting killed by this rogue Jaeger who they can't stop, who's super powerful. So it kind of leads to suspicion that the Chinese company's behind it. Also, Charlie Day works for the Chinese company now. He's designing all their Jaegers. And then she's able to send an encrypted message before she dies. And they decode it. The guy, the really creepy dude who worked with Charlie Day in the first one, he decodes it, and they go to the Siberian, Antarctica, Alaska base, and they get attacked by the Jaeger again. This time they kill it, and they rip off the head to see who's piloting it, and it's a kaiju brain.
Yep.
So that's the first twist. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then the second twist is we find out Charlie Day has been still drifting with that one Jaeger brain from the kaiju brain from the first one, and now like those, what are they called?
What?
The bad guys, not kaiju, but the ones precursors.
Oh.
He's being controlled by a precursor.
Yeah, they're
So
in
he's
it.
put like kaiju blood in all of the automated Jaegers, and they all become like kaijus. And but they're not. And they're trying to.
That is not even what I
No,
was
they, like,
expecting out of this
start, like,
movie.
Yeah, that.
Growing.
I will give them credit. The trailers, none of the trailers.
Yeah.
I didn't
showed
see
that at
either.
all.
No.
Yeah,
And
that was not
I thought
anything.
it was gonna be like massive kaiju.
Yeah, that
But they're
whole
fighting against.
that whole thing is very surprising
Yeah.
to me.
And so their thing is,
hybrids.
I kind
they're-
of like that.
They try to reopen the breach. Like they attack all the bases and take
Okay.
out the Jaegers, and they're trying to reopen the
I'm with
breach.
you now.
And there's a really cool scene because the Chinese lady's able to hack in and shut it down. There's this one scene of a kaiju coming through the breach, and boom, it
Yeah.
closes on him, cuts his ass in half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then we've got the three kaijus. They're coming up, and they're all heading towards Mount Fuji for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
because their
because it's
blood
Fuji.
would react with the volcano and all the minerals in it,
yeah.
and like create this gas cloud that would cover the planet, killing off everybody and terraforming it.
Oh.
Which at this point,
Precursors.
though, I feel that's kind of moot because they can't open up the breach, so therefore they would terraform it for the precursors who couldn't get here.
Oh.
They would figure out a way.
They probably would eventually, but yeah, it was just kind of like that was kind of a waste. So then, like, Charlie Day, they try to arrest him. He gets away, and we don't see him for a while. And so then they fix all the Jaegers, and it felt like that should have
Which-
taken days.
I didn't understand.
Yeah.
There's 3 kaijus active, moving around on Earth, and they've got like days.
I guess.
Days.
To,
All of a sudden, they have this amount of time to fix up the Jaegers.
and what I love is like,
Oh yeah.
so yeah,
like,
so they
that-
got.
I leaned
they-
in
they-
and I'm
they-
like,
they-
why
Well,
do
they
have
had that.
time?
They had that kind of lead time abruptly in the first one too.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, like, so they say, like, so all these Jaegers aren't in Japan, like, they're in the ocean
Yeah.
somewhere, and one's
They're
in
spread
China,
out.
like,
They're
the
spread
China
out.
Sea or something like that, and they're like, okay, they're heading towards Mount Fuji, so they figured this out real quick,
Yeah.
where they're heading to, so they start fixing the Jaegers. Yet then we cut to Tokyo, and people are fucking running around the streets in these cities like, if they had enough time to fix these Jaegers, there was enough time to say, get the fuck in those shelters, Tokyo.
Yes.
So that was kind of a weird thing again. Something that we could have explained in
Yeah.
the plot or something like that, or just not have the people running in the streets and be like, because they even say the streets are clear.
Yes.
Go ahead and fight, because I guess that's still left over from the whole Man of Steel thing.
Yeah.
Which they could have just said the streets are clear to begin with, because we warned them and they all got the shelters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also there's a bit of geographical error. They show Mount Fuji way too close to Tokyo.
I've never been. So I
Because
don't know.
Mount Fuji is a good hour at least on the bullet train.
Oh.
That's going 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So it's a good, like, at least 200 miles, I think. Because I think it took us about an hour to get to Mount Fuji. Hey, Google, how far is Mount Fuji from Tokyo?
It is 154 kilometers to get to Mount Fuji from Tokyo by car.
It's almost 300 miles then.
Oh.
Yeah, that is a. It's a bit of a.
Wait, no. Hey Google, how many miles is 154 kilometers?
I knew
I'm
you were
doing the
gonna
math
ask.
wrong.
154 kilometers equals 95.691 miles.
I was
Okay,
about
I was a little off. I said it took a little. Well, there were stops, so it took a little.
Yeah,
less than
you
an
had
hour.
the stops too.
Either way, that's still 100 miles. They
Yeah.
kind of show it like
It's
here's
like right
Tokyo
next door.
ends and here's Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here's the Washington Monument from '95.
Yeah. So yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, unless in this future they really expanded Tokyo,
Yeah.
which I don't think they would have with all the kaiju attacks that happened 10 years prior.
It's another
Mega
thing.
City 2 from
Yeah.
Judge Dredd.
So I was just kind of looking at it as like, because the way they do like a pan out shot,
Yeah.
it's like Tokyo ends and now we're going up the.
Oh.
That's exactly
Mount.
how they did it.
It's like almost like a cartoon almost.
Yeah. So they're fighting. So the remaining Jaegers go. They're fighting the three kaiju's, and then we see Charlie Day on a building in Tokyo. Who knows how this wanted man got from China to Tokyo, but he did. And
Yeah.
he's like commanding like these mini bots that then
They're
run
almost
up.
like nanites. Like.
Oh, they're too big to be named.
Well, no, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that's kind of like the premise.
And they crawl up
Oh,
the
kind of like
kai-
the shape and what it
Yeah.
looks
Yeah,
like.
and they crawl up the. They look kind of like mousers from.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And they crawl up on the kaiju's and they fuse them together to form this giant
This
kaiju.
massive kaiju.
Which also was kind of spoiled in the trailer because I remember there was a
Oh yeah, I do
they
remember.
fused. I don't remember them doing that. Something like that. Which
Yeah.
the part of I don't remember them doing that. I don't think was in the movie at all.
No.
Oh, it's
they
one of those
never did
cases
that.
where they use some footage that didn't end in there.
Yeah.
But so we have this
It's
giant.
always weird.
We have this giant kaiju who they can't beat, and they only kill one Jaeger pilot, which was like this Indian kid who was very like. His dad was like a plastic surgeon, and he was like the only of the
I wanted
Jaeger.
to look something up. Hold on.
He was the only like recruit Jaeger pilot other than like the middle school girl we talked about who built her own Jaeger who had any character development, and they just killed her. Killed
Oh.
him. And it was very anticlimactic.
Oh.
So then what they do is decide to beat the Jaeger after all the Jaegers have been beaten, except for Gypsy Avenger, not Danger anymore. Who I felt was a downgrade. Because remember he had that badass sword that
He
cut
did.
the fucking kaiju in half
Yeah.
But like
in the
I
first
said,
movie? Didn't have it in this one.
these kaijus are bigger. They're bigger.
No, the three though, there were 2 Category 4s and a Category 5. I believe that's what they fought at the end of the first movie.
Yeah, but
Yes.
they fought him under the water and like blew him to hell with
The one he cut in half in the movie was at least the Category 4. Because
I think he was a 4.
I'm pretty sure all the kaiju that we saw after he returned.
Yeah,
were
when
all
they're
Category 4s
underwater
and
was a
3s.
4.
Yeah,
that was
so I'm
a 4.
saying, if he had that sword from the first one,
No.
could have taken one of them out.
Was the
Yeah.
last kaiju in the first one a 5?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was.
But anyways, so they weren't facing anything that they hadn't faced before, basically. But they got their asses handed to them. And so the plan is to get a rocket booster and carry him all the way up and drop him on the kaiju to kill it.
Okay.
Which, sound plan, terminal velocity, something that
Yeah.
big. Which I felt would have caused more damage to the mountain than it did. But I was telling Steph, I was like, the amount of thrust that it would take to lift a Jaeger into the atmosphere to drop it is probably greater than its terminal velocity. So why not just shoot it at it like a missile? So I felt that would do more damage, and you could kind of steer it that way.
Yeah.
He was having trouble steering.
Yeah. So they get out, they live, they get saved by the little mini one. What was it called again? Scrapper. And the kaiju gets blown into like 3 different pieces, kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And they catch Charlie Day. That's when we see Scott Eastwood come back, because we think he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, he ejected. Not necessarily think he's dead, but he got ejected because he got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
He punches Charlie Day out and arrests him. So then Charlie Day's in an interrogation room, and he's like half Charlie Day, half Precursor, because it's like, because in this scene where like he attacks his buddy, he stops himself. He's like, "Why am I doing this?" And then the Precursor takes over. So there was that. But here's the ending that I thought would have been cooler. Because I remember when they said they were going to do King Kong vs. Godzilla,
Yeah.
they were also going to bring in the Pac Rim universe into that universe.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I know where
And,
you're going.
and since they said they were going to Mount Fuji, I said to Steph, I was like, when they said they were going to Mount Fuji, I was like, Steph, this isn't going to happen. But how great would it be is if the Jaegers are all beaten and then fucking Godzilla comes out of the ocean.
Just as like a.
Let them fight.
Yeah, and then just fucking grabs him, rips open his mouth, atomic breath down the throat like he did that one Muto. That would have been the ending.
Oh man.
And that would have made this
So
movie
freaking
better than the
awesome.
first one. Because it had Godzilla. And then I thought to myself, and I didn't say it to you,
Yeah.
but then I thought to myself, we get Kong versus Godzilla. What if Kong comes out with him? And Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah, but then you're getting
fucking
way
tag-
too like over
Yeah.
here and like.
Who gives a shit? It's giant robots fighting giant monsters. Fuck it. Let's beat Rampage to the punch and get a giant lizard and a giant monkey in there on that
There
too.
you go. Oh man.
That would have been awesome.
I would have lost my shit. I'd become like a 5-year-old kid. Which reminds me of the story of when I took Sean. He was
Oh,
5
yeah, I
when
remember
Godzilla
that,
came
yeah.
out.
Oh yeah.
And when that scene I was talking about when Godzilla rips open the Muto's mouth and breathes fire down there, Sean was like, oh! He just lost his shit. And a dude, a big fat mouth breather, turned around and told him to be quiet. I was like,
Oh.
shut your mouth. That moment was made for that expression.
Oh no.
Because that was my expression too. Because like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, but you're an adult. You know to be quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I would never fault a child
No.
for that moment
No.
getting that excited.
No.
Yeah.
'Cause when you see a giant fucking lizard breathe fire down a giant
I
monster's
kind of want to
mouth,
watch Godzilla.
It makes me want to watch Pacific Rim, the first one.
Yeah.
I just
now that I
really-
saw the second
I just
one.
really want King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah.
2020, I think, is when that's coming out.
That sounds about right.
Though I do want to see Rampage when that comes out with The Rock.
That does look entertaining.
So then, and then we end with John Boyega kicking in the door and talking to Charlie Day, and the Preacher's like, "We're coming,"
Yeah.
and then John Boyega's like, "Well, we're coming for you."
Yeah.
Which I was like, yes, that's where this movie needs to go, because that's where the new Independence Day movie should have went. They shouldn't have attacked Earth again. We should have taken the fight to them.
Yeah.
But also, I would like to say, I think a lot of the design, I got to see who the designer is for the special effects on this, because there was a lot of shit in there that was Halo-esque.
Yes.
really?
Thank you.
The recruits,
Thank you.
armor
Thank
looks
you.
like the Spartan armor from.
Yes.
I was about to say,
Yes!
didn't they want Guillermo del Toro to do Halo?
No, that was
When will
Peter
they
Jackson.
ever
Oh,
do
Peter
a
Jackson,
Halo
okay.
movie? That's one thing I want.
It probably won't be good.
Yeah, that's the problem. They never really.
But
tried.
yeah, there and like the Chinese billionaire lady, her like
Yeah.
personal transport looked like one of the
Pelicans.
ships, Pelicans. Thank you from there was and when
But no, when they turned the kaiju.
when the
turned
kaijus
in,
took over,
they
the,
look like
like-
hunters.
yeah, they did look like
They
hunters.
look
They had
like
the
hunters.
mandibles and everything
They,
like that.
no, those are the elites.
Yeah.
But their necks.
Oh
and,
yeah,
like,
but
the
yeah, they had
internal
the mouth like
parts,
and their mouth and the head look like
the hunters.
no, the elites.
They look like the elites because the
Yeah.
mandibles, but like inside the neck because the elites don't have like the cords
Yeah.
and stuff. That in like the inner part.
Okay, cool. So you got the Halo vibe from that.
I
Yeah.
did. As soon
Okay.
as I started seeing all that, I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, so I just really need to look who like designed the shit on there.
He probably
And
worked on
It would not
He
shock me
probably
if he or she didn't work for Bungie or Microsoft
Yeah.
at some point.
They wanted it to be in there.
Either that, or they really love some Halo.
But that did make me think that was like kind of like stuff's like, you know what? And it is a
I didn't
detriment.
say it
It's
when we
it's
were
a
watching it.
it's a detriment to that movie because at a couple points when I saw like the Halo-esque things, I was like, you know, I kind of much rather be watching a Halo movie right now.
Hey,
But like I
don't
said, I
know.
picked the movie apart because as a film, it's not a very good film. Like, it's not shot that well. Like I said, a lot of the battle scenes are bad.
Yeah.
Are just poorly shot because it's too shaky cam. You don't see what's going on, and you're doing too many cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of cuts, or just not knowing, there's too many of this. Where like a bullet or something's flying by, they go.
Yeah, inside the
Slow-mo look.
cockpit.
Oh,
There's
really?
like 4 or 5 of those
Yeah.
in that movie.
One or two. That's all
No,
you
we
need.
don't even need those anymore. Those are so like done to death.
Mhm.
The only time I ever want to see something like that, no, I don't even want to see it like that again. But like when like Peter Parker, and it's the first time I remember seeing something like that, is in the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, where he's
Flash
fighting
goes
Flash
to
Thompson.
Yeah, and he goes, what?
Yeah.
Like, not counting, like, bullet time from Neo, but he's not really looking at the bullets.
Oh
he's
no,
just
no,
dodging
he's
them.
just he's
But yeah, the first time I remember someone dodging a punch or something like that
And they
and
slow it
looking
down.
at it, yeah.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago almost.
Yeah.
We can
Oh,
knock it
yeah.
off with that little effect. It's every time I see it, I cringe a little because I don't think I've thought it's looked cool in at least 15 years.
Since Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, so we can chill with that. But no, I mean, if you want a movie to entertain you, because like I said, I was entertained the entire time.
Mhm.
I wasn't bored.
Mm.
If you want a movie to entertain you that you're going to probably forget about by the next day,
Yeah.
because because honestly,
I'm not gonna
if we weren't going to talk about it on this podcast, I wouldn't have retained anything.
Mm,
I just
there
be like,
you go.
yeah, that was
I
alright.
think
Yeah.
John Boyega did a good job.
Oh, John Boyega is fantastic.
Yeah.
His real accent bugs the shit out of me. but
Why?
well, it's because I got so used to see him play Finn.
Oh,
Yeah.
he plays an
Because
American.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
like I've never. Well, he's not really American,
No,
but he's
but
got.
You don't know what he is, but he doesn't
Yeah,
have
he's
his
doing.
British
He's
accent.
doing. He's
Well,
doing
he's
the British
British.
accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's from London.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
But he has his actual natural accent.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the movie.
And that always throws me
Because
off.
Like that's the only
Yeah,
thing
it
I've
was-
seen him in was Star Wars. I've
Yes.
never seen.
But
any
see,
of
I always
those.
have to get used to it because it always throws me off because I'm used to him playing Finn.
Yeah.
So it always takes me a second. Like I got used to it in the movie, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it always.
But at
throws me
first
off.
it's jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, John Boyega's fantastic. He's a treasure. That little girl has some charisma. She's not bad.
Mm.
We never got conclusion of who that chick liked more, Scott Eastwood or John
Because
Boyega.
he's like, that's confusing.
Actually, one of
Because
my
she kisses Scott and then she kisses John, and then John's like, well, that's confusing.
Oh.
one of my
Prefer
favorite
John.
lines in that is when John Boyega's talking about Scott Eastwood, and he's he's
Oh, he's
Where's-
like sexy and like, because he's talking about how he's good looking and
yeah, he's like
sexy.
we'll just say he's good looking and sexy, and then John Boyega said he is good looking and sexy.
Yeah, he kind of
It's
like
just-
confirms
It
it.
was just kind of a funny like aside.
Yeah.
Which could have been a bad line, but John Boyega pulls it off
Yeah.
with his charisma. So he's very good. That's the one thing, that review I sent you, I don't know if you watched Jeremy Johns' review, I told you to watch it. That's one of the things that he says, like, John Boyega carries his film. And he does.
He
Like,
does. He does.
I feel if you would have gotten an actor with less charisma, it'd have been quite boring.
It shows
Oh,
that he does
yeah.
have the ability to
Mhm.
carry a movie. Like, he has the ability to make a movie.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I mean, he was my favorite part of The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Easily.
Really?
Yeah, him and Poe.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them together. And then John Boyega, just, like, his reactions with everything. Like, with him and BB-8.
Yeah.
And then on the ship when he's yelling at Ray, because I just don't. What's the actress who plays Ray?
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy, I don't like her. I've tried.
Everybody loves her.
I don't. I don't think she's that good of an actress. Her
I haven't
face
seen her
bugs me.
outside of it. Her face bugs you.
Something about her
Jesus.
face. Like she's not ugly or anything like that. I'm not trying to put her down, but you ever just see someone's face and you're just like, I don't like it.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
Like the only other person I can really think of is Sidney Crosby. That guy.
He's got a punchable face.
God, the most punchable face in the NHL. I hate Sidney Crosby so much. God, I hate that bastard.
Oh my god.
It's hilarious to me every time he gets brought up in whatever
I can't
conversation.
afford seats behind the bench, but I've told my friends, I was like, if you ever, because a buddy of mine who is rich said, I'm going to get us seats behind the Penguins bench. I was like, we'll get kicked out. It's like, why? It's like, because I'm going to talk shit the entire 60 minutes to Sidney Crosby.
Oh my god.
And I'm pretty sure I could beat that punk ass, his little bitch ass too, so I wouldn't even be afraid if he wanted to fight. I'm like, fine, fuck it. Parking lot, let's go, bitch.
No gear on though.
Yeah, no gear. Fuck it, he didn't have his gear on. Still kick his ass.
That'd be funny to watch.
Like this is Josh like beating this guy's ass.
Yep, like, oh wait, let me film it right way.
Yeah.
It's for all those times you eliminated the Capitals from the playoffs.
You son of a!
No, she's already dead!
It's like watching A Christmas Story. He's even cursing the same way.
Making no sense
I
whatsoever.
would just yell out, come get these hands.
And you end the argument with just screaming.
Yeah. Fucking hate Sidney Crosby. But I don't want to punch Daisy Ridley in the face.
No.
She doesn't have a punchable face, I just don't like her face.
Mm.
tell her that too. I don't like your face.
Well, you have to deal with her with another Star Wars
God,
movie.
hopefully that's the last one I have to deal with her with it. I think unless they actually make an Obi-Wan film that I feel interested in, I think the next Star Wars movie is my last.
Solo?
No,
Or
the next Saga movie.
okay,
The next
Saga
Saga
sorry.
movie is
Yeah.
probably my last.
So basically, he's going to see Solo. Probably going to be either
They had a trailer.
either
Okay.
I've
mildly
already seen it. but
Okay.
he'll either be mildly disappointed or
I don't know if I can be disappointed in
really
Solo.
really hate it.
I don't know if I
I'm
can be
not-
disappointed in Solo because my expectations for Solo
Are low.
are lower than
Very
I have
low.
for Pac Rim. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's what I was saying. Like the highest you could ever feel of that new movie is mildly disappointing.
I don't even think the actor for
No.
Solo looks like him.
well, honestly,
They didn't do a good job.
well, I don't think you should be casting that role and say, "Oh, this guy looks like Harrison
No, but
Ford."
the kind of has to like look like him and like sound like him. a
No,
little bit.
because if you get worried about that,
that's what you're doing.
but but if you're too hung up about, oh, does this person look like the actor? Does this person sound like the actor? You could be getting a shitty actor who sounds and looks like Harrison Ford, but they suck.
Or if this was 10, 15 years ago, it could have been Josh Hartnett.
Like, yeah,
What?
it definitely would have
Yeah.
He
Does-
doesn't look like Harrison Ford.
Have you seen Hollywood Homicide?
No, I never saw.
been. They
it.
look like they'd be father and son.
Yeah, they
But-
really do.
Really?
but-
oh my
but-
god, I'm going home tonight.
But perfect example, James McAvoy looks nothing like Patrick Stewart, sounds nothing like Patrick Stewart, but goddamn does he hit it out of the park at
He
Professor
does.
X.
Oh
He
yeah.
does.
So I
He
mean,
even
would
looks
you-
like the cartoon now.
yeah. Would you rather have someone who looks like Patrick Stewart who doesn't quite nail the role, or James McAvoy?
I mean,
And same with Michael Fassbender, looks nothing like Ian McKellen.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
but the guys are a lot older. Like the
Yeah,
like
but
the
they're
older
so
characters.
far apart as far as the way they look. Like it just wouldn't. They
They-
wouldn't
I
look
saw
the same.
the movie. Okay, talking about James McAvoy. I saw the movie Split recently for the first time, and you know.
Oh, I
have
haven't
you-
seen it yet. So.
Okay, so he's dressed up in like a button-up black shirt, black rimmed glasses for one of the Split personalities.
Mhm.
He looks just like Chester Benningfield. He could do like the bio.
That is not where I thought
Oh,
this was
man.
going.
I want to see a biopic about the lead singer from Linkin Park. Absolutely not.
Why?
It'd probably be a terrible movie.
I don't give a fuck. He looked just like him.
Okay, he looks just like him. Doesn't mean
If
we
they
should
make a movie about his life, if like
Why?
a made-for-TV movie or whatever,
James McAvoy's not doing a made.
No.
I mean, he would be.
James McAvoy's got to fall at some hard times.
Yeah, he's got to have a real big
In
downfall.
fact, I feel if James McAvoy fell on times that hard, he would dress up like Chester and take the same.
Yeah, I'm
exit.
just
Oh,
saying.
jeez.
I was surprised at how much he looked like him. Like I was like, damn. Like I'm just thinking.
I'll
'cause
take
we
your
were
word
talking
for
about.
it. M. Night Shyamalan has not gotten me back. Probably never will.
Have you seen Split?
No, and I won't.
It was an alright movie. I thought it.
See, I can't see All Right by M. Night Shyamalan. I have to hear Oscar-nominated movie for me to even consider.
Yeah, because what was the last Shyamalan movie you watched?
Signs?
Was it Signs?
I think so.
Signs is a good one. I really like Signs.
Because I thought about seeing The Happening, and then then
That
someone's like, and then someone's like, don't do it.
No, don't.
I
Don't
yeah
watch it.
yeah I saw The Happening and I think I tried to convince myself I liked it. It didn't work.
No. That's
See,
a
I've never
movie I
seen
didn't
it. I've just seen the acting that Mark Wahlberg does in it, and that's enough to say to me that's a pile of shit.
Yeah.
I
it's-
bet you Mark Wahlberg's not happy with the fact that he was in that movie.
Bullshit. Mark Wahlberg does a lot of shitty movies. The
Mm.
last two Transformers, for one.
Oh, they just guaranteed paycheck. He
That's
knows he's gonna
fine.
get money.
Well, some of his other movies weren't getting.
You know, with
really
the case
good
on your
reviews.
note, it almost looks like one of my Chargers.
Actually, yeah, it does.
This?
It looks
Yeah.
yeah. The way it was sitting, it
The
looked
way
like
that
his
Kate,
it looked like his big
my anchor Charger.
yeah
Oh.
Charger,
Yeah, my brick of a Charger that gives me like 13 hours of power.
which
It's
you
fantastic.
were pissed that you didn't have charged.
Yeah, when we lost
When
power.
we lost power, that sucked. I
They
didn't
lost
have any.
power at Paragon tonight.
Oh, did they?
Yes, they did before he showed up.
Which is probably why I got them to waive the fee.
Because shit was falling apart.
Yeah.
It's like, fine, fuck it, whatever, go, get out of
They
here.
didn't have time to deal with me, so. Pick your spots,
Their
ladies and gentlemen.
computers were taking forever
Pictures.
to come.
Oh,
They were like, like the last thing they want to
sucks.
do is deal with.
So I was telling Stephanie, I was like, if they don't get these computers up running, I lose my ticket anyways because you only have 30 minutes to check in.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. And I went to the Sprint store down there and they did not have the SIM card.
Oh, really?
No.
Man, you're
And my
going
SIM
all
card-
over the place.
And the thing's my SIM card, man, it's still like the order's still processing. Note to everybody who is on Sprint and they want to order a Pixel 2, call Sprint up first, order your SIM card before you order your phone, because apparently none of the stores carry those SIM cards in stock for the most part. So I overnighted my fucking Pixel 2 so I could have it.
You still can't even really play with it.
I can play with it.
I mean, you can play with it here.
I can't use it as a phone. I
Yeah.
can use it on Wi-Fi, and it's fantastic what I've used so far. So,
Oh, and then Sean still doesn't have the phone.
nope, because I still have this one.
Yeah.
So.
Annoying. on
Yeah, I
both
thought I
fronts.
could pop out the SIM card from my Pixel 1 into the Pixel 2 XL. Nope, because Sprint's like, no, we do special SIM cards for every phone.
Yeah.
Because Sprint is fucking
Yep.
just in the dark ages.
That's why I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Got rid of Sprint.
I like my unlimited plan.
Yeah, like unlimited everything.
Yeah.
And
I have unlimited everything with AT&T.
you pay a lot more though.
How much do you pay a month?
For me and Sean, $98.
I pay $100.
For
Right
just
on the.
you.
Right on the.
For just you though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for two
Ain't
phones.
nobody getting on my deal. They're like,
Yeah, but the value's better on his plan. My plan is I'm still paying off my phone, so I'm paying around the same as you. But yeah, your value's better because you have two people on your
Yeah.
phone on your plan for the same amount
But
that
fuck Sprint.
And also,
Okay.
AT&T throttles the shit out of you after like.
they do. After you
15
go
or
to your,
20
if you
gigabytes.
go over your
I nev-
cap,
The technically unlimited data goes to 22 gigs, and then once you hit 22 gigs, they do throttle you down.
Yeah.
But you can still keep using without being.
oh
charged.
yeah, I get that. And,
But
I mean,
I've
that's
never
what
reached that
YouTubers-
cap because I'm always on Wi-Fi. All week long Wi-Fi, at home Wi-Fi. Right now.
I hit that cap a couple times in summertime. It was annoying.
I always get a ton of data because I can't use Wi-Fi at work.
Mm.
Because if I use the Wi-Fi at my work, I'm subjected to their network.
Oh yeah, because your network your
And
network
what,
will
they
be
can track you?
firewall.
No,
No,
it's
stuff will be
firewall.
blocked.
So the reason why I'm on my phone is because
Dude, I am
shit's
forever
blocked.
on my phone
Yeah.
on my work network.
So yeah, so it's like I'm not gonna like be blocked because I'm using like that so I can listen to podcasts that are
Yeah.
blocked beyond the firewall.
Yeah.
So it would serve me no point being on their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly. So
But I think that's all for the podcast this week. And we have anything else to add?
there was nothing that really did anything this week except for the Deadpool
Oh,
trailer.
Ready Player One comes out next week.
It's probably
You
gonna
don't
be
you don't like
terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't read the book. The movie looked pretty good.
He didn't
I'll
like the
give it a
book
try.
and didn't
The
finish
book
it. I
sucks.
enjoyed the book and I hope the movie.
You
does
didn't
not
enjoy the
suck.
book. You enjoyed Will Wheaton reading the book to you. It's not the
Will
same.
Wheaton narrated it?
Yeah. He
Oh,
read
that's
it.
awesome.
He read the audiobook.
If you had to actually try to read that book, because I was telling Stephanie when she was like when we saw the trailer, she's like, "Oh, it looks so cool." I was like, "That book sucked." Because if you take out all the nostalgia in the book and it's a basic fantasy journey written by a terrible writer who can't write dialogue, who sucks at describing things, which is why he probably did the nostalgia right. Because all he's got to say is, "It's the DeLorean from Back to the Future."
Yeah.
Doesn't have to describe it at all
No,
because you
you
already
know.
know what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So.
Which I agree with Josh in on that part because I tried doing his second audiobook.
Yeah. Because
I
you said
couldn't
you
go
didn't want to
through
read
it.
Yeah,
the second.
I told Stephanie, I was like, there's a reason why you don't hear about his second book.
Yeah.
Because it's not a nostalgia trip, and he's a terrible writer, so no one
That's
gives a
what you
shit.
said.
Oh, no,
I thought you
the
said
thing
that
is-
you didn't read it.
I feel like he tried to do some of the nostalgia in there, but I couldn't make it through like the first. I couldn't even get through like the first chapter really,
Huh?
and it was also narrated by Will Wheaton.
Oh.
Yeah, the book is just
I think
terrible.
I think for the book,
What is it? A sequel to Ready Player
No,
One?
no, it's not.
Oh,
it's
it's
a-
totally different.
it's a
Yeah.
totally different
Okay.
book. But I think for Ready Player One, shit, I lost it. I was gonna say something, and I forgot.
The only hope I have for Ready Player One is that it's directed by Spielberg, but at the same time, it looks like a CGI fest.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much anything that happens in the real world, much like the book, I have no interest in.
Yeah.
Because most of the interesting stuff happens when they're in the Oasis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was trying to like drag myself through that book. I think I got like 3/4 of the way through, and I just fucking threw my because it's like I started off strong. I was knocking pages out, reading it, but I get about I think quarter to halfway there. I'm like, this book is fucking terrible. It is just bad, and it's ruining my time on the shitter. Oh, I should just wipe myself with a book and just, so I think I just like slugged the next like quarter of the book. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through. Nelson had already finished the audiobook. And he was like, he wanted to talk about it. I was like, dude, I give up. I was like, I can't finish this book.
Yeah.
It's bad. Just tell me how it ends. Which he told me in detail how it ended. Fucking don't remember. Don't tell me now because I'm gonna see the movie.
Yeah.
So I'll be surprised.
Well, no, I don't think that ending is going to be anything like the book.
Probably not.
Because copyrights, I don't know you could get that many licensing deals.
Oh, really?
That was involved in the book ending.
Well, I don't
Because of all
know.
the nostalgia. and
But
everything.
Yeah.
it might not be from the book, but they might swap it out with like you see all the shit that's in there.
Oh yeah, I've
Did
seen
I see-
Tracer in there like a bunch of
Tracer's
times.
in there. Iron
Master
Giant.
Chief in there?
Yeah,
Because
a whole
I
bunch
saw-
of Master
yes.
Chief.
Well,
I know,
Iron
it's all
Giant
in the
was
trailer.
mentioned in the book.
Was it?
In the final battle.
Oh, okay.
Who?
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant.
Yeah.
And you see King Kong in there. You see Rexy from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new one.
the DeLorean.
Yeah.
That one's in there.
Who? It was Amblin, but they just brought that back forward because Amblin Entertainment does that.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's gotta be Universal then, because usually Spielberg does stuff with Universal.
Yeah,
That's like
because
his
if I
thing.
remember correctly, last time I was, granted, this was a long time ago, and it could have just been a theme park. But at Universal, they had like Amblin stuff.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Well, yeah, because E.T.'s Universal.
Yeah.
Jaws Universal, Jurassic Park's Universal. Like the only thing I can think of his tentpole movies that Spielberg's done that weren't Universal were like the Indiana Jones movies. Those were Paramount.
Oh, I thought you could say AI for some reason.
I don't even know who did that. I think AI was Warner Brothers,
Mm.
but that one he picked up for Kubrick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Because they come from an era where like directors and actors work for basically one studio
Mm.
for the most part. Yeah, Ready Player One. I'm going to go see it because I hope that Spielberg does something with it. Though I will say, early reviews from 2 reviewers who I usually agree with,
Mm.
they said it was just okay. They said like the middle's pretty boring, which would mean it's a great adaptation from the book.
Huh?
But yeah, the one thing that I'm scared of, Mr. Sunday Movies, in his review, he says the movie is very nostalgic driven. Like there's so many scenes where you're like picking things out, like
Mhm.
oh, I remember that from a kid. I remember that.
Well, I mean, the trailer is also nostalgia ridden, which,
Yeah.
given the theme of the book, that's expected.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel I might like the movie a little bit better than the book, but man, I'm going to a lot of movies with low expectations.
You're just going because you got movie pass.
Yeah, I probably
Because
no.
I don't like Ready Player One. I don't see you watching.
No,
that without
I would.
movie
I would
pass.
still pay to see Ready Player One, just because because when I read it, I was like, I feel this would be a better movie than
Yeah.
a book.
Mm.
And then when they said Spielberg was doing it, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
So you're willing to give it a shot.
I'm willing to give it a shot. Honestly, though, as much as I love Steven Spielberg, he is my favorite director. If I could pick anybody to direct it, it'd be Peter Jackson.
Yeah, that would be a really good one
that
because he
man-
knows how to do scale and scope.
Yeah, and that man knows how to do the hero's journey probably better than any director directing today.
I kind of wish that happened. Because that actually would have been pretty good.
But it doesn't mean it would have been any better than Spielberg's doing. So let's face it, the Hobbit movies fucking blew.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did do those, didn't he? I forgot.
But then
I forgot they
next
had to
month-
get him back.
Next month we have Infinity War.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
Oh
Oh.
That one, whew, I don't know if it can meet my expectations.
man. Those are pretty high expectations,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
That's the first movie that you have high expectations.
Yeah, I think it's the first. I think that might be the only movie this year I have high expectations for.
Because yeah, you were underwhelmed by the Deadpool trailer that dropped
Yeah,
this week.
the
I was
Deadpool
kind of
trailer.
meh on it as well. I was like, oh, this is
I totally forgot
Yeah.
that the Deadpool trailer dropped this week.
Kind of like when we were talking about like
Mm.
comedy sequels
yeah.
earlier today. It's just kind of like you have to give me a reason to see Deadpool again, because
The first Deadpool was good.
it was good. It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's
I
very
love
good.
it.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be very hard to top
It doesn't
that.
have to.
Well,
It
not,
doesn't,
they don't have to top
it doesn't have to top it so much as I need a
But
reason.
that's what a sequel tries to do.
But that shouldn't be the goal of a sequel.
But I feel like that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
That's probably what they are trying to do.
that's
but
probably what they are.
That's
trying to
the
do.
goal of a bad sequel. A sequel should be continuing the story. Because one thing Stephen King said, because somebody asked him why he doesn't really ever do sequels to books. He, with the exception of Dark Tower being, but that was just an epic he was telling. It wasn't like he wrote a book like, oh, I want to write a sequel to it. Stephen King, and I'm paraphrasing, basically said, if you can't complete that story in that first book, you did a bad job writing that first book. Basically meaning, you've told a complete story, there's no need to go back to that character. We need a reason to go back to that character. So, like, I don't see a reason to go back to Deadpool. Like, I'm going to
You
go see
felt like at the end of Deadpool that it was complete?
Actually, yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah.
They kind of just wrapped that story up
He
in a nice
completed
little
his
bow.
arc. Like, his whole arc was to become normal again
But he
and
made
age.
that movie made so much stupid amount of money.
Well, yeah, they were going to
Yeah.
make a
They're
sequel.
like, you know what, we're going to
Yeah,
do
but
it
that's
again.
not. I mean, that's not a very good reason to make it.
Why not? Like, why not try to
Well, no,
make
that's
that?
the reason
No.
the studio makes another movie. That's not-
Business wise, yes. If it
That's
makes
not
money,
the
you
reason
want to try
why-
and make more money. But
that's
to
But
make
not
that's
the-
exactly
but to
the reason
actually
why.
make a good product.
But that's
a
not
good
the reason
result.
why an artist comes back to making another film.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have, like, actors not been in the sequel and they've been replaced because
Like
they
Charlie Hunnam.
felt like there was
Batman.
they felt like there was no reason coming back to that role
Yeah.
because they felt like the character was complete. Michael Keaton in Batman, Christian Bale in Batman. You know how much stupid money Warner Brothers threw at him to come back for Batman vs
He
Superman?
should have.
No, he shouldn't have, and he made the right call because he
should've.
probably had.
At least make a cameo.
He probably. Why?
Because you recast the role. Why would you have the previous person in there? It's not like they.
Well, like-
it's not like Sean Connery was walking around behind Roger Moore in any of his movies.
No, that's true.
Yeah, so there's no real reason to do that. It's actually confusing to watch.
Yeah, because then you're like, wait, that's why is Batman there? That'd be
Why is
dumb.
Batman next to Batman? It's like he didn't have Adam West in the Batman movies. That would have been weird. It would have been out of place. Like when
No, I get what you're saying.
Ed Sheeran was in Game of Thrones, people lost their minds
I
because they
feel
thought
like
it was
he should
distracting.
have made like one more Batman movie. He was so good. He was so.
But they completed his story. They told his arc. That's the thing. Is like when you complete a character arc, when you complete a story arc, you have to compel the person to come back for seconds. Which I don't know. Like nothing in the Deadpool marketing has compelled me to like. Why do we need to see this character again? And I love Deadpool. I'm a huge Deadpool fan.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, why are we making this film? Like, what's like? They don't even give us the story in any of the trailers.
The trailer was actually kind of.
We just know Cable's come back and he says he wants the kid. I don't think he says he actually wants to kill the kid. And we're assuming it's this fat kid who's might be Pyro.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's the story? Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have very low. I have not very low expectations, but I think Deadpool 2 is set up for failure.
Yeah, because I did remember seeing a headline, which might have been fake. It probably was.
Well, no,
Where they were saying that it was testing badly.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't take that. I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's like I see
Because-
something. I'm like,
because
ah,
Batman
okay.
vs Superman tested well, and that movie's a pile of shit.
Oh, I remember putting out an article too. It was like a pre-cut was a preliminary cut was showed to like execs, and they were raving about it. And one guy said so far as to say that Ben Affleck is the definitive Batman.
Yeah, it's just so test audience and early
I wouldn't
screens.
say that.
Test audience and early screens.
Yeah.
I don't put much salt in because, like, a lot of those people are grabbed off the street, which is I think is the dumbest way to do a test screening, because they're not film critics.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily fans of a property. They're not the right people to tell a studio what's
Actually,
good
yeah,
and
I've
what's
never
bad.
actually thought about that. Yeah, you're right.
Because-
Though, if you were one of those people that were asked, you would probably do one.
Oh yeah, I could,
Yeah.
but I could break it down. I've studied film. I've
Yeah.
taken classes on it. I've taken screenwriting classes. I've taken film classes
Mhm.
in college and stuff like that. I can break down a film. I mean, I
Yeah.
did it with Pac Rim a second ago.
Mm.
And trust me, I could go on for hours of breaking down that film. But that's the thing is when you grab just normal people off the street and they're like, oh, I didn't like that because of this. They're, and I don't want to insult like the average person, but it's like they don't know how a story's structured. They don't know the 3-act structure of a story. They don't know about character development. They don't know about character arcs.
And
Things
it
like
might
that.
not even been a movie that they're interested
Yeah,
in
it might not
seeing.
be a movie that they're interested in seeing.
Or they're a fan of
Ticket.
their genre or whatever.
Yeah, they were just asked to come screen something,
Yeah.
and they did because a lot of times they offer money for it, or it's a free movie, so
Yeah.
people do it.
They're like, hey, I'll go see a free movie.
So yeah, so like endings have been changed to movies that don't make any sense because they were reshot, and that's because the original ending didn't test well with screen audiences. Like the whole like the narration I brought up with Blade Runner, that was in there because of test audiences.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the director's cut of Blade Runner and the original cut of Blade Runner, the original cut seems to be really shit, and
Yeah.
a lot of the reason why it's shit is because changes made because of test audiences, and I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there's some horrible test audience ideas. Like I know What's in the Box at the end of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be cut out of the movie because test audiences did not like it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I actually just saw something
But-
about that. Yeah.
What's the director of it from Fight Club?
Oh shit, what was his name?
Fincher. David Fincher.
Yeah.
He didn't listen and claimed that he sent the wrong copy off to be pressed.
Oh.
So that's why we still got that ending. So I mean, test audience for the most part. I mean, I'm not gonna do the research, but I can almost say there's probably almost never been a movie saved by test audiences, as opposed to movies ruined by test audiences.
I don't know. What about World War Z? I like that movie, but I don't know how it did.
Oh, with test audiences?
Yeah, because that had massive reshoots. If
Yeah,
you
it did
remember.
have massive reshoots.
Like they reshot almost half the movie from what I remember.
As a fan of the book,
Oh, it's completely different.
yeah, it's
Oh,
nothing like
really?
the book at all.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Well,
like
the book, if you really want to do the book right, you need to do like a mini series, like 10 episodes long, like
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Where-
like a made for TV.
With the movie, I
Yeah.
always just
Kinda
consider
like
it
The Stand.
like the way I consider the movie how it would fit
Not The
in
Stand.
is it's just another story
Because basically
in the
the
book that
plot
wasn't
of
told.
the plot of World War Z, the book, is it takes place after the war. Zombies have been killed, humanity's rebuilding, and it's basically this journalist going around interviewing people about their experiences during it.
So it's
like
a collection
each chapter
of
is
experiences.
a different story that doesn't connect to any of them other than they're a part of the apocalypse.
That's what World War Z is.
That's what the
supposed
book
to be?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that.
Yeah. See, that's why I always consider the movie as just another story
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
but-
happened.
But
during
also,
World
I
War
think
One.
like
Oh my
every
God.
story in that book is better than what we got in the movie.
That's also very true. Every story was so. I'm gonna re-listen to that book now.
well, the thing is, like, and I think World War Z would have failed if you had a different lead actor. Because I think Brad Pitt
Brad Pitt.
carries that film.
Yeah.
He
And
does.
I think if you would have had someone with less charisma in that role,
Makes me want to go watch.
that movie would have sucked.
Yeah.
And
That's very
like,
true, 'cause
well, World War Z, I enjoyed it, but it's like a popcorn flick.
yeah, it's.
It's like how you were talking about.
Well, it's kind of funny, like, the original Pacific Rim and World War Z, the only reason why I've seen those is they were like $3 on
Oh
Blu-ray
yeah, that's
on
right.
Black Friday.
I forgot about
And
that.
I bought both of them. And
Yeah, it was. They were two blind buys, and thank goodness
that
we
weekend
actually
we
they were
watched them
enjoyable.
and enjoyed them.
Yeah,
Pacific Rim, yeah.
I think I blind bought Ex Machina that year too. I think.
No,
That
that was
fucking movie.
that wasn't Black Friday. You bought it when it came out because it was only $10. When it
Oh
was.
yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Ex Machina is one of those movies that I don't know if I can watch it.
I know.
It's a good movie.
I liked it a lot, but I don't like. I look at it in my digital library. I'm like, no, not today. The Watch.
Yeah.
The Watch was another good movie. Blind.
Oh yeah, that's when I blind bought.
Yeah.
The Watch, what is that about?
That's with Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn.
The guy from the IT Crowd and Jonah Hill.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look at it.
Aliens, and it's up to the neighborhood watch to stop them.
Oh.
It's
believe it.
absurd.
Oh yeah, it's just
a
a silly
comedy,
movie.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's a sci-fi comedy.
It's
feel
a
like I've
dark.
heard
It's a
it.
dark comedy because
Oh.
it gets dark at some points.
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah, but it's pretty funny though.
And it also feels like much like internship felt like a commercial for Google.
yeah.
The Watch feels like a commercial for
Oh,
Costco.
that was a
Oh,
straight up
really?
commercial for Costco.
Like I need to look up to see if Costco funded any.
They
of that
probably did.
movie. But yeah, we're getting way off course. So Pac Rim, definitely if you want a popcorn movie, go see. If you like giant robots, if you like giant monsters, That's
or if
the
you
film
just
for
like
you.
John Boyega.
Yeah, if you like John Boyega, if you're a John
Or
Boyega fan, check it out.
Scott Eastwood. You wanna look at
But
somebody
like I
who-
said, it's not great. It's not bad. I went in with low expectations. I came out with 6.57. I would
Yeah.
say it's about where it ranks for me. So I will probably forget about it after we're done with that camera, and it's not a movie I never ever need to see again.
I'll get
Yeah.
it when it comes out.
I think
I'll buy it.
if I still had cable and I was cleaning the house and it was on like
It's
TNT
in
or
the
USA,
background.
it could be on in the background. But it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to watch again.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those.
I may
movies,
wait
okay.
until it comes down in price and then buy it.
Would you get it on Black Friday for $2?
Yes, I would buy it for $2.
No, I wouldn't buy it.
I
Okay.
would.
But
Because
say,
I already have the first one, so I want the second one.
but say
Well,
so
he has the
I would
first
say
one.
to you, if you're just bored, like you're off from work, you're bored, like on a weekday,
Yeah.
you want to see a movie, not a bad movie to use your movie pass on that day.
I'll keep that in mind.
So this was kind of an experiment where we just spent the entire podcast talking about a movie because I've been kicking around in my head that maybe we should start doing like a quick 20-30 minute podcast talk about movies.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's a new release or we kind of talk about like a crappy old movie, something like that. So yeah, so,
I'll just record offshoot episodes talking about Super Mario Brothers.
so if you want to see more like movie podcasts from us, just let us know in the comments. Tweet at us at Clash of the Nerds, at JOMac006, at Future Ryu, at Scott Eastwood fan #1.
I have not.
So yeah, so good night Tokyo. Glad the Jaegers didn't destroy all of them.
Yeah. There's some buildings still standing.
Yeah, oh
Some
my
of
God.
them. Oh, good, it's still on.